Okay.
So we went on a little adventure,
We did, man.
little 14,000 step adventure last week.
1.7 mile walk adventure.
Yeah. So the KC Current put on a tournament called the giving ourselves an award called the Teal Rising Cup,
Yeah.
where we invite other teams, typically international, sometimes some NWSL, not this year, but that's okay.
Yeah.
And we have a little tournament during the international break where players play for their international teams. We took a little stroll to our first current game.
Yeah.
Still haven't been to a regular season game. That's okay. But our first current game, and we had a little adventure. Parked at the library. Got on the streetcar.
Yeah. My first time. So
The streetcar that goes all the way to current. Oh, no. It only says that on the streetcar's website. It doesn't go to current landing yet. So we took the streetcar to the river market. Then we walked to a sketchy little bridge with a very sketchy elevator.
I will say the bridge wasn't that sketchy.
Hey,
The
I'm
elevator.
trying to play up the story.
No, you can play up the story. I'm just saying the elevator was probably the scariest part. And then the observation deck at the end of the bridge where you tried to push me into the Missouri River, that was the scariest part for me personally.
You're talking about the one that had guardrails that were up to your neck? Gotcha.
I'd say mid-chest.
A guy that can't carry over 50 pounds right now. I feel you. No, that's fair. Murder attempt failed,
Yeah.
obviously.
Yeah, I'm here.
And you go on this bridge, you take some stairs down, don't take the elevator, and there's a nice little wall of art. You know, KC, we love our art, the good, the bad. There's a little sign on the art, essentially, that says CPKC 1.3 miles this way. So after about a 5-mile walk, you'll find yourself getting close. You'll go by this kind of neat little area, like a little upscale, but like neat. There's like volleyball. It all seems public. There's a nice little bar hangout area, some lavish but not too crazy apartments. And you're like, you know what? Maybe current landing isn't just for rich people.
Yeah.
And then you realize that's not current landing. Current landing's next to it, still under construction, and it very much is for rich people. And you eventually get to the stadium, and it was a fun little adventure. It's a very nice stadium. It's cool to be next to the river. It, even though it is a crazy walk, it's not crazy. It's, even though it's a big walk, it like is very convenient compared to like Kaufman or Arrowhead, to where you can walk there and there's a path that they essentially laid out for you, so you don't have to pay the $50 for parking. So that's cool.
Yeah.
And you know, what do we see when we watch the Teal Rising?
Yeah,
tournament?
thanks for kind of setting it up. Just to kind of let those who don't know, so obviously the current were part of it. You had Club America from Mexico, Corinthians from Brazil, as well as Palmeiras, also from Brazil.
With the 5'9" giant Bia Zanerato.
Yes, the Teal Empress, as she was known here in Kansas City. So it was great to see her. We caught the second half of that Palmeiras versus Club America game. So it was great to see B on the field. My first time ever seeing her play in person. And yeah, I thought it was a great experience overall. We were able to catch the current, see them play. Started off with a nice lead. And then, of course, Corinthians came back. We thought we were headed for extra time. We thought we were headed for penalty kicks, which, Tyler, I remember you were saying that I hope this goes to penalties.
You gotta get your money's worth, you know?
But the thing is, if it's penalties, then it's like you risk losing.
Oh no, we lost our own tournament. That doesn't matter.
I know, because it's like, if you're going to host and create a tournament, you better make sure you win that tournament. But anyways, that's besides the point.
I guess.
Avery, I'm forgetting her last
Clark.
name. Avery Clark, yes, from KC Current 2, had an amazing header off of an assist from Izzy Rodriguez to take the lead. We won 2-1 to advance to the final.
Her first goal.
Her very first
in
goal.
Teal.
Yes,
And Teal won. I don't know. What do you call it?
very first professional goal, I guess you could
Yeah.
say. Yeah. So that was amazing. I called it. Just throwing that out there.
And
But
we got a little taste of, what do you call it? Tyler being right again, which
on what exactly was that?
well, a little while ago I said I saw one play of Amelia White, Millie Rock, if you will, and I was like, yeah, she's something. It's the same thing I saw in Alex Pfeiffer, and you know what she's doing over in the Bay now. And I think she didn't score or anything, didn't get an assist, but I think it was pretty obvious that we found a star to be, you could say.
I agree. And seeing her in person, there was one particular play where she was in the midfield, a defender was pressing her, and she found a way to completely turn that defender around and push the ball upfield and find an outlet pass. Just for such a young player at this level to have a calmness. She never gets flustered. She always seems like she puts herself in the right positions. She found herself a lot of times like wide open on the wings, and she's got pretty good pace, and she put in some pretty dangerous balls into the box. None of them resulted in any goals, but a lot of them were really good chances.
Yeah, not that night.
Yeah, not that night. But as we know, in the final against Palmeiras, in my opinion, she had the goal of the season for anybody on the current so far. I was thinking, oh, this is a dangerous pass. No, it was a chip. She chipped the keeper, went off the post, and in. Like,
Which, when you originally said that, I looked at some highlights, just like a random one that was posted,
yeah,
a random play. And I was like, oh, that was pretty crazy. Come to find out, I think that was the own goal that I was looking at. She didn't actually touch it.
Yeah.
And then later I saw the one you're talking about, which was pretty insane.
yeah. And I think had that been scored in NWSL, I would say that's probably one of the best, if not the best, goals so far. So I think she is a future star of the future.
Yeah, I mean,
That
redundant,
was,
but
that was
it
weird.
makes
I
sense.
think she's a future star, and I'm really just excited to kind of see what she can do. And another thing that I saw in this tournament is Hailey Hopkins, Hop as we call her around here.
Very good.
She won MVP of the tournament. This is her second year in a row. This is the second year of Teal Rising Cup and second MVP award. She scored a first half hat trick in the championship game before the current went on to win 6-1 against Palmeiras. And she played the 9 position, a position that would typically be
Reserved for Temwa,
reserved for Temwa. Yes. Thank you for helping me get that out.
of course.
And it left me wondering because this NWSL season, we started off the season without Temwa.
Yeah.
She was injured. Michelle Cooper, while she was playing, but she was on reduced minutes because she was coming back from injury.
Still seems she's a little reduced.
It does. It really does. And you had this situation where Chris Armas was playing chess and moving people around, and you essentially had 3 or 4 players playing out of position and having a lot of youth start in the midfield because Lola Bonta was also missing as well due to injury. So it makes you wonder, well, why wasn't Hailey Hopkins in the number 9 position over Ali Sentinor?
Yeah.
Because if you do that, then you can say, okay, instead of putting Dabini in the midfield, we can have her at left wing, take over Michelle Cooper's spot, and let Michelle come in as a super sub. And then you put Ali Sentinor in the midfield at her natural position, and Croy Bethune is out on the other wing. So I feel like...
And now, just correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
I feel like having Temwa on the wing, and Croy, of course, but Temwa on the wing instead of the number 9 really opens up space for whoever the number 9 is.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I feel like that's one of the reasons, not that she's great, obviously.
Sure.
But one of the reasons Hahop was able to get her hat trick is she
Absolutely.
had so much space and time compared to what she usually would have.
That is true.
With Temwa out there.
Yeah, and that also brings me to my another point because I don't bring this up to be like, oh, Chris Armis should have absolutely started the season off with Hailey Hopkins in the number 9, because although she played amazing in those 2 games in the Teal Rising Cup, we have to take that with a grain of salt. These aren't NWSL teams. These are good teams in world soccer, but when you kind of look at the rankings of different leagues throughout the world, NWSL and the Women's Super League in England, those are considered kind of 1 and 2. Some people think the WSL is a little bit better than NWSL here in America, and others think vice versa. So, however you want to rank it, those are typically the top 2 leagues in the world. But when you look at Liga MX Femenina, where Club America plays, they're ranked, I believe, 11 according to some of the Opta rankings that are kind of out there, whereas the Brazilian league is ranked 10 in world rankings. With these Opta rankings, they look at all these analytics, almost similar to baseball in a way, where they look at goals scored, we look at assists, passes, and not just passes, but the type of pass. And there's kind of a grading system. They grade all the players on the field. They grade kind of matchups. If there's more parity, then it seems like leagues are kind of rewarded for that in terms of points assigned to each team. So when you look at the NWSL, there is a lot of parity in that league. There are a lot of players, not only American players, but international players that add a lot of value to the league in that manner. So when you kind of compare NWSL and the league over in England, there is a sort of gap in the quality between them and league teams in Mexico and in Brazil. So although Hahop played well, she deserves her flowers. We do have to take it with a grain of salt because I feel like the competition she was going against isn't quite at the same level as what she might face in the NWSL, which like you mentioned, with Temwa being in there, it was a first half hat trick for Hahop in that championship game. Temwa was on the field that entire time. So I think you bring up a good point. Temwa opens up a lot of things, which is why she's an MVP. She not only scores goals, but she creates opportunities for others. So let's be happy about the Teal Rising Cup and what we saw from Amelia and Hahop and Temwa scoring her first goal of the season. But let's also take a step back and kind of look at the bigger picture. It's a good step for us, but this team still has some room for growth.
What's the ranking system called again?
It's called Opta.
Yep. He doesn't get that.
I get it.
You're right. You watched a few episodes. I forgot.
Yeah.
A few episodes of
Breaking Bad.
No.
needed a little help.
That Temwa goal. I'm not a huge soccer person. Maybe this is just me, but that Temwa goal was hilarious to me. She just went around the goalkeeper and was like, "All right, get that in there."
I will say, you get goals like that when people don't know how to react to your speed.
Yeah.
If you look back at Temwa's first season in NWSL, I'd say she probably had at least 5 goals very similar to that because teams were just so caught off guard, they didn't know how to react to her speed. Now, last year they made some adjustments. She still scored on them, but she had to do it in different ways. Mm-hmm. I'm optimistic. I always am about everything. That's kind of my nature. But we have some things we need to figure out, kind of moving forward in this season. So, yeah, that's kind of where I'm at.
Well,
with it.
hopefully we can. Hopefully that really got our spirits up
as we play
for the next match.
Yeah, which is on Amazon apparently. So
everything's on Amazon.
Yeah.
All right, so let's get into our 30-minute segment about monopolies. No.